One of the frequent questions that we get a lot at seminars and when our members call up is, can I be sued for using my gun? Well, the sad answer to that is yes. People in the United States, and especially in Pennsylvania, can be sued for anything. But the question really I think that people mean to ask is, what happens if I use my firearm in self-defense? Can I be sued? And as a general proposition, if you use your firearm in self-defense in the state of Pennsylvania, under the Castle Doctrine, you're immune from civil liability when you're justified, again, in using self-defense. You're not immune from the lawsuit because, again, as long as you have a filing fee and you go in and you file it, anyone can sue anyone in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. There's no pre-editing, if you will, of the lawsuit. Instead, what happens is, under the Castle Doctrine, if you prove or show justification, meaning self-defense, then it doesn't go to trial and you get out of the case a lot earlier. Now, on the books, if you prevail, meaning that you win and you show that there is self-defense and there's civil immunity because of the Castle Doctrine on the books, you should be able to get attorney's fees, experts' fees, compensation for lost income, and some other things, costs that are involved in litigating that lawsuit. But in reality, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, you very, very, very rarely get awarded attorney's fees or any of those other costs. So it's something definitely not to bank on and not something to put all of your faith and confidence in. Generally speaking, the winner and the loser of any lawsuit, as a practical matter, have to bear their own costs. So the other question that comes up as a follow-up question that I think is a great question is, what happens with that innocent third-party bystander who happens to be strayed by, hit by a stray bullet? And what we have to do is really divide it into 4 different concepts. First main concept is civil and then criminal liability. We'll talk about both one of those. And then also you have to talk about within that 2 subsets. Number 1 is, are you acting in self-defense, justifiable self-defense, or else is it just plain old-fashioned negligence? So let's talk about each one of those very briefly. As a general rule, negligence standards mean something that you knew or should have known that your actions present an unreasonable risk of harm. The best example I'd like to give that is the cartoon example, right? Yosemite Sam, he's up there shooting his 6-gun in the air. Well, guess what? Bullets go up and they come down. And it's reasonably foreseeable that the laws of gravity work. So if the bullet goes up and it comes down and it hits someone or property, that would be that negligence standard, in which case you may be civilly liable and also criminally liable for recklessly endangering another person, or whatever the circumstances might be. You might be in trouble criminally because you knew or should have known, even though it wasn't your direct intent to harm someone or property. Something to be aware of during those New Year's or special celebrations, or if you are Yosemite Sam. The other thing to think about is when it comes down to that innocent bystander who gets shot because there was a self-defense situation. And that's a tragedy. That does happen, and it just happened recently over in Perry County. And the answer to that is, from a criminal point of view, that there will, if it's justified self-defense, there will be no criminal charges. The other person could be liable, meaning the person who caused you to do self-defense could be liable under the law for any death or harm that comes to that third party. It's called transferred intent. And then when it comes to civil, there's no automatic, kind of immunity that comes from that. But is it negligent? The answer to that's going to be no, because if it's justified use of force, then it's going to be something that you intentionally did in order to prevent the greater harm of you being shot or killed or maimed or some sort of serious bodily injury. So that should answer some of your questions about, can I be sued for using my gun in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania? What happens with the stray bullet? And if you have any other questions and you're a U.S. Law Shield member, we're happy to answer them.